Hello class, today we're going to learn about some of the properties of arithmetic. First, we have the associative property, meaning A plus B plus C equals A plus B plus C, meaning no matter which order you add, left and right, you can do the same thing. So that means like 2 plus 3 plus 4. If you group it this way, it becomes 5 plus 4 is the same as 2 plus 3 plus 4, which is equal to 2 plus 7. And if you actually do out the math, you get 9 is equal to 9. Associative. So, moving past that, it works the same way if you have multiplication instead of addition. So this gives us, I'm going to go ahead and replace some of these with multiplication signs to make it a little handier for you. A times B times C is the same as A times B multiplied by C. Meaning 2 times 3 times 4 is the same as 2 times 3 times 4. If you do the math, instead of getting 6 and 4, instead of getting 5 and 4, you get 6 and 4. And instead of getting 2 and 7, you get 2 and 12. And now, instead of 9s, these become 24s, but the main point of this is that it doesn't matter if you do the left and right operation first or second. So for addition and multiplication, they are associative. The second property that we're going to cover here is called the commutative property. I'm just going to go ahead and erase that word so I can get commutative property. This means A plus B equals B plus A. Like 2 plus 5 equals 5 plus 2. And again, we have 7 is equal to 7. So this just shows that this holds for addition. If instead we decide to use multiplication to show that commutativity is still available here, then we have A times B equals B times A. 2 times 5 equals 5 times 2. And you can see that this comes out to 10 is equal to 10. Now, we're going to go to the third property, which is the most complicated, but it's not too bad. This is called the, let me get this writing better, distributive property. That means that multiplication distributes over addition. So A times B plus C is equal to AB plus AC. Meaning, well, I guess I'll put a little time symbol just to keep things consistent. And we can do an example like 3 times 2 plus 6 is equal to 3 times 2 plus 3 times 6, which is 3 times 8 equals 24, which is also equal to 6 plus 18. So that shows that the distributive property holds for addition and multiplication. And another thing, the other half of the distributive property says that the commutative property interacts with it, which means the same is true if you have A plus B times C equals AC, or A times C plus B times C. So 3 plus 4 times 5 is equal to 3 times 5 plus 4 times 5, which shows us that 7 times 5 is equal to 35 is equal to 15 plus 20. The reason that we can do the distributive property like this is because of something called the order of operations, which you may already be familiar, but it goes parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. So we want to do things in those orders. So parentheses, we want to do these things in the parentheses first, so we want to make sure it's 7 times 5 instead of 3 plus 4 times 5, which would have been 23. What we get from this is the grouping that shows us 7 times 5 instead of the other. So that is parentheses followed by exponents, which is whenever you raise something to a power, which is repeated multiplication. So 5 raised to the third power is equal to 5 times itself 3 times. And if you were to raise it to any arbitrary power, then you would just multiply by itself that many times. So 2 to the 5th power is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And this order of operations shows us that after parentheses, exponents are the next thing that we're able to do. Multiplication is something you're familiar with. Multiplication and division, they actually get to be grouped into the same category because now you can just read left to right once you've done these two things. And you want to do all the multiplication and division before you add and subtract so that we can get something like the distributive property. But from there we get the 7 times 5, or no, the 3.4 multiplied by 5 can happen, or my mistake, I'm misspeaking. The 3 times 5 happens before you add the 4, and the 4 times 5 happens before you add the terms together. That was a little bit of a mouthful. Sorry that I tripped over my words. But following that becomes addition and subtraction, which can also be read as one group. And when you get to this point, you can read the whole equation left to right and do all the operations in order once you've already done all of these. But if that gets tricky for you to remember, you might already be thinking, please end my day at school. And then you'll remember what you need to do.